Hello everyone and welcome to a lecture on the poem Ring Out Wild Bells by Alfred Lord Tennyson. Alfred Lord Tennyson, often regarded as one of the most significant poets of the Victorian era, left a mark on English literature with his profound verse and captivating imagery. He was born on August 6, 1809, in Somersby, Lincolnshire, England. Tennyson's life journey spanned a difficult period of social, political, and technological upheaval, and this complex time was mirrored in his works. Alfred Lord Tennyson's early life was marked by instability. His father, George Clayton Tennyson, struggled with mental illness and alcoholism. These factors cast a shadow over his family's financial and emotional well being. Despite these challenges, Tennyson found solace in literature and began writing poetry at a young age. His passion for poetry blossomed during his formative years, and he drew inspiration from the romantic landscape of his rural upbringing. In 1827, Tennyson enrolled at Trinity College, Cambridge, where he forged lasting friendships with fellow poets Arthur Henry Hallam and Richard Monckton Milnes. His time at Cambridge was transformative, exposing him to a vibrant intellectual environment and providing him with an opportunity to refine and raise his poetic voice. However, his academic pursuits were overshadowed by personal tragedy when his beloved friend Hallam passed away unexpectedly in 1833. Hallam's death profoundly impacted Tennyson and inspired some of his most poignant works, including In Memoriam AHH. In Memoriam AHH is a poetic elegy which Alfred Lord Tennyson dedicated to his departed friend. Despite the challenges that he faced, Tennyson's literary talent flourished. By the mid 19th century, Tennyson had established himself as a preeminent figure in English poetry. His collection of poetry, his debut collection, Poems Chiefly Lyrical, was published in 1830, which garnered critical acclaim and showcased his mastery of lyricism and imagery. Subsequent works such as The Lady of Shalott, Maud, and Idylls of the King further solidified his reputation as a visionary poet with an unparalleled ability to evoke emotion as well as introspection. Tennyson's poetry often explored themes of love, loss, nature, and the human condition, imbuing his verse with a timeless quality which continues to resonate with today's readers. His keen observations of the natural world and insights into the human psyche earned him admiration from his contemporaries and secured his place in the literary canon. Beyond his literary achievements, Tennyson's personal life was marked by a series of triumphs as well as tragedies. In 1850, he married Emily Selwood, his longtime sweetheart, and the couple settled in the countryside of Surrey. Despite the tranquility of domestic life, Tennyson grappled with periods of melancholy and self doubt, which often found expression in his poetry. Tennyson's later years were characterized by a prolific output of poetry and a deepening sense of introspection. In 1859, he was appointed Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom, succeeding William Wordsworth, and he held the position until his death. As the Poet Laureate of the United Kingdom, Tennyson penned verses to commemorate significant national events and milestones, solidifying his role as a poetic voice of the Victorian era. Tennyson's legacy extends far beyond his lifetime, shaping the course of English literature for generations to come. His influence can be seen in the works of subsequent poets, including Robert Browning, Gerard Manley Hopkins, and W.B. Yeats, who admired his command of language and thematic depth. Moreover, Tennyson's poetry continues to be studied and celebrated in academic circles as well, providing insight into the social, cultural, and philosophical currents of the Victorian era. Alfred Lord Tennyson's life and work are a testament to the enduring power of poetry to illuminate the human experience. Despite all the personal hardship, Tennyson's unwavering commitment to his craft propelled him to literary greatness, leaving behind a rich legacy that continues to inspire and captivate readers around the world. Ring Out Wild Bells is one of Alfred Lord Tennyson's most beloved poems, written as part of his larger work In Memoriam AHH, published in 1850. The historical background against which this poem emerged provides insight into Tennyson's personal experiences and the broader social and cultural context of the Victorian era. Tennyson wrote In Memoriam AHH in response to the untimely death of his close friend Arthur Henry Hallam, who passed away suddenly in 1833 at the age of 22. Hallam's death deeply affected Tennyson and plunged him into a period of grief and introspection that lasted for many years. Ring Out Wild Bells serves as a reflection on the passage of time and the inevitability of change, the enduring power of hope amidst adversity. The historical backdrop of the Victorian era provides additional layers of meaning to the poem. The 19th century was a time of significant social, political, and technological change in Britain. The Industrial Revolution brought rapid urbanization, economic transformation, and social upheaval, which disrupted the traditional ways of life and giving rise to new opportunities as well as new challenges. Against this backdrop of change and uncertainty, Tennyson's call for the wild bells to ring out can be interpreted as a plea for renewal. It represents resilience and optimism in the face of challenges. The ringing of bells was a common ritual in Victorian society, marking significant events such as weddings, funerals, and religious ceremonies. In Ring Out Wild Bells, Tennyson harnesses the symbolic power of bells to convey a sense of collective mourning and renewal, urging his readers to embrace the future with courage and hope. Moreover, Tennyson's poem resonates with the broader cultural and intellectual currents of the Victorian era. The mid 19th century witnessed a revival of interest in spirituality, morality, and social reform as intellectuals grappled with the moral complexities of modernity. Tennyson's invocation of themes such as faith, redemption, and the search for meaning reflects the existential anxieties of his time, while also offering a message of faith and resilience in the human spirit. Rooted in personal grief, but also imbued with the universal themes of hope and renewal. This poem, Ring Out Wild Bells, continues to resonate with readers and reminds us of the power of poetry to illuminate the human experience across time and space. Now let us discuss the poem. Ring out wild bells to the wild sky, the flying cloud, the frosty light. The air is dying in the night. Ring out wild bells and let him die. In the first stanza, Tennyson sets the tone for the poem with an invocation to ring out the wild bells to the wild sky. The imagery of flying cloud and frosty light evokes a sense of the natural world. The air is personified as dying in the night, symbolizing the passage of time and the end of an era. The repetition of ring out wild bells emphasizes the urgency of the message, inviting the readers to contemplate the theme of transition and renewal. Ring out the old, ring in the new. Ring happy bells across the snow. The air is going, let him go. Ring out the false, ring in the true. The second stanza continues the theme of transition, as Tennyson calls for the old year to give way to the new. The ringing of happy bells across the snow symbolizes the joyous arrival of a new, fresh beginning. Tennyson contrasts the departing year with the promise of the future and urges the reader to let go of falsehoods and embrace the truth with authenticity. Ring out the grief that saps the mind. For those that here we see no more, ring out the feud of rich and poor. Ring in redress to all mankind. In the third stanza, Tennyson addresses the theme of grief and loss, acknowledging the pain of those who have passed away, as this poem is about his friend, Arthur Henry Hallam. The ringing of bells is a traditional funeral ritual, signaling a farewell to those departed. Tennyson also calls for an end to societal divisions and injustices, advocating for equality for all mankind. Ring out a slowly dying cause and ancient forms of party strife. Ring in the nobler modes of life with sweeter manners, purer laws. The fourth stanza shifts focus to societal reform, as Tennyson calls for an end to outdated customs and political strife. The slowly dying cause and ancient forms of party strife represent obstacles to progress and harmony. Tennyson advocates for a nobler, more virtuous way of life characterized by kindness and fairness. Ring out the want, the care, the sin, the faithless coldness of the times. Ring out my mournful rhymes, but ring the fuller minstrel in. In the next stanza, Tennyson reflects on the moral decay of society, lamenting the prevalence of want, care, and sin. The faithless coldness of the times suggests a lack of compassion and empathy in society. Tennyson acknowledges the somber tone of his own poetry but expresses hope for a brighter future. Ring out false pride in place and blood, the civic slander and the spite. Ring in the love of truth and right. Ring in the common love of good. The next stanza condemns pride, slander, and spite, advocating instead for the love of truth and right. Tennyson calls for a spirit of unity and goodwill, urging the readers to reject divisiveness and embrace common values. The stanza emphasizes the importance of integrity and honesty in personal and civic life. Ring out old shapes of foul disease. Ring out the narrowing lust of gold. Ring out the 1,000 wars of old. Ring in the 1,000 years of peace. In the seventh stanza, Tennyson calls for an end to disease, greed, and conflict, envisioning a future of peace and prosperity. The ringing out of old shapes of foul disease and the 1,000 wars of old symbolizes the eradication of suffering and violence. Tennyson looks forward to a new era of harmony and cooperation among nations. Ring in the valiant man and free, the larger heart, the kindlier hand. Ring out the darkness of the land. Ring in the Christ that is to be. The final stanza concludes the poem with a vision of hope and redemption. Tennyson calls for the emergence of valiant, compassionate individuals who will bring light to the darkness of the world. The stanza culminates in a reference to Christ, symbolizing the ultimate source of hope and salvation. Tennyson's invocation of Christ's coming suggests a message of spiritual renewal and the triumph of goodness over adversity. Ring Out Wild Bells by Alfred Lord Tennyson is a powerful and evocative poem that encapsulates themes of transition, renewal, and hope in adversity. Through the ringing of bells, Tennyson creates a rich tapestry of imagery that invites readers to contemplate the passage of time and the complexities of the human experience. The poem begins with an urgent call to ring out wild bells to the sky, signaling the end of the year and the onset of change. Tennyson's repetition of this phrase emphasizes the poem's central theme of transition, urging the readers to let go of the past and embrace the possibilities of the future. Throughout the poem, Tennyson employs vivid imagery to convey a sense of both melancholy and optimism. He reflects on the grief and loss that accompany the passing of time, yet also celebrates the potential for redemption and renewal. The ringing of bells becomes a symbol of both mourning and rejoicing, echoing the dualities of life itself. Tennyson addresses a range of social and moral issues in the poem, from the divisiveness of politics to the moral decay of society. He calls for an end to injustice and inequality and advocates for unity, kindness, and compassion. Through this poem, he offers a vision of a better world, a world where peace, love, and truth prevail. Ring Out Wild Bells is ultimately a timeless masterpiece that continues to resonate with readers even today. Each stanza contributes to the poem's overarching themes of transition, renewal, and hope, and it invites readers to reflect on the challenges of the past and embrace the possibilities of the future. Its eloquent language, poignant imagery, and profound themes make it an excellent example of Tennyson's poetic genius and a testament to the enduring power of poetry to illuminate the human experience. Thank you.